Hi guys, and welcome back to the Black Gold Homestead. I want to bring you a quick video today showing you the update on the seedlings I started, the kale, turnips, and radishes. But I also wanted to show you some of the spring blooming bulbs up in the flower bed, but we're going to start back here. So in this cage here we have the turnips, and all these little green sprouts coming up are turnips, and you can kind of see them coming up out here too. Turnips. And then as we walk further back, this is all kale, and there is some coming up in the, I'll just pull one and show you. There's some kale coming up in the aisleway, but as you can see, this is planted really thick, and I'm gonna have to cut some of it out because, especially right there, the kale is just super thick. So that's all kale. Now, from this green stake here down to here is more kale. And then these big ones that are growing quite fast, these are radishes. So all these are radishes in here. So the seed, the early spring crops are coming up. And then soon we'll be getting Swiss chard and peas planted, shell peas. So now let's go look at some of the blooms. Okay, so now we're over at some of our fruit trees. We don't have a whole lot, but we have a couple. And behind you is a pear tree that you can probably see. It is a Cleveland, so it's not really an edible pear. It's just the small little ornamental ones, but it is blooming nicely. And then over here we have our peach trees. We have 3 different varieties here. I forget the varieties, the names, but we have 3 different varieties. And some of them are starting to go over, while others are still blooming, but some are starting to go over. If you look at these, and I do need to cut some of the dead out of these branches, but there's still a decent amount of blooms on them. Fruit beginning to set, like right here, some fruit setting on that one. And then right here is another variety of peach. This one blooms later in the year. And they smell quite good too. They do have a bit of a smell to them. So now if you look over here, these are the grapevines, and we need to get in here and do some more work because some of the arbor is a little bit falling down, but most of it's in pretty good shape. And then we have some plum trees blooming here, and we had another one back there, but it's already done blooming. All right, so now we're gonna walk up to the flower bed. So now we're in the back flower bed, which is on the west side of the house, so it gets afternoon sun. And these are daffodils that I planted last fall, so it's only their first time. Maybe some of them might be the second time. And these are double daffodils. There's one starting there, and there's some other ones. And then this is your snow lilies. They're a real small, grassy type plant with a white stripe down the middle, and they get white flowers on them. Back here we have some narcissus. Getting buds, no blooms yet, they bloom later in the year. And all these little crowns you see coming up here, 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 all those are all black-eyed Susans. There's a lot of them in here. They're from seed. This is a yarrow, so that'll get flowers on it. I think that's a bicolored one. And as we move down, you'll see a lot of these starting to come up. These are all Echinacea purpurea, purple coneflower, and they're medicinal, and if you have rabbits, they are great to feed them, and chickens too. More snow lilies, and anisine hyssop. That's a great herb, and it smells like licorice. This is comfrey, another great one to feed to your livestock. It's starting to come up out of dormancy. And then here we have some older daffodils. They're starting to go over, but they still look decent. So some daffodils there. Irises are coming up. Lover's Knot is coming up real good. Okay, so now we get down over here and we have some more blooms to show you. Watch out, there's a hosta here. These are yellow hyacinths. I think they are 3 years old. I think it was one original bulb and now it's 3. So that's good news. This is a dianthus that's been in a pot for a couple of years. And we have a couple of pots of dianthus around the house. So that's blooming nicely. Or not blooming yet, but it will be. These are more daffodils from little tiny pieces I started. These are all your Amaryllis belladonias. Some people call them naked ladies. They have different names. We have purple hyacinth. And further back we have white hyacinth. And I also bought some pink hyacinths to plant up in the garden here shortly. Oh, and also underneath of all of this is Lily of the Valley, I believe. Here we have some more daffodils blooming. Nice double ones. They're looking pretty good. This back here is a bleeding heart. That's a white one. And there's also some lavender I grew from seed. Well, they kind of grew themselves from seed. And here are the new little hyacinths I bought. As we walk down this way more, you can see some orange mint popping up in here, which, oh, and that's Lily of the Valley there. You can see that we have some more narcissus, and back there we have some yellow and white daffodils. And then over here as the ground cover, we have blue periwinkle or vanca, whatever you want to call it, grown from seed. And all of it's underplanted with echinacea, and there is a speedwell plant right here. That gets purple pink flowers on it. Oh, and here is a little purple heuchera from seed. That one right there in the middle. Okay. Now we'll walk down this way. Some more lavender back here, and some snow lilies, and some weeds coming up. Dandelions. Rose bush is starting to get leaves on it. Here's another dianthus in a pot. This one is white flowers, I believe. There's variegated bugleweed, and there's also underneath of here there's some what are they called? Balloon flowers growing. Here's a little tiny hyacinth I grew from seed. It's on its first little flower stalk, and there's some more daffodils. And then up here we have another pot of dianthus, which is quite old. And that's pretty much all for this side of the house. So now we'll go to the other side. Okay, so now we're on the south side of the house, and we don't have anything in bloom, I don't believe. No, there's a couple daffodils, but we do have a lot of lilies coming up. These ones here, I don't know what color they are. These are just starting to come up right here, and you can kind of see a shoot there. These are red ones. This is African bush daisy, I believe the name is. More lilies. These are probably orange. Yellow Asiatics, some onions, more lilies here, and a cat. More lilies. Here we have a huge, humongous, big clump of lilies, and one growing up underneath of a rock. Here's more lilies. These are probably all oranges, these big clumps, and they need division. They need dividing again this year. And we got some lily bulbs I just planted in the last couple videos ago, planting up lily bulb videos. There's some tiger lilies and some black Asiatics. And then here we have some more Asiatic lilies. I believe these are all orange lilies. And there's some nice big shoots coming up, and a couple of daffodils as well. Up here we have some more lilies starting to come up in pots. different colors again. And here's some orientals, and we also have orientals on the other side. And then the last thing I wanted to show was, here's a plot of plants we put on our front porch. This is Creeping Jenny. It's a vine, and it's starting to come out of dormancy. It is a perennial that will come back. And then these just came out of the house. These are rain lily bulbs, and these ones are Peruvian daffodils. And then these are all rain lily bulbs as well. They're a little bulb that gets flowers on them, and they're not winter hardy, so they have to be stored inside. So I just hope you liked seeing the blooms and some of the plants that are starting to spring out of dormancy, and I hope that everyone's having a great spring, and thanks for watching.